All right, let's get back into it. Apologies for that. The stream assets are being a bit weird. I'll have to fix that. I actually think I know what it is, which is a shame. You'll have to give me a little bit of a moment. I need to quickly turn. And it's a bit warm in here. Bloody stream prep completely ruined by a faulty USB board. Tragique. Let's change the stream info because I forgot to do that too. Right, there we go. And assets, things, bobs, loop deck mostly. There we go. And we're back. It feels like it's been a while since I've actually done any comic, so I feel like I've missed something. No, we are onto the shadow layer. That is super doable. I'm probably going to keep things very, very chill. Very simple. Had a very hectic weeks, and they're going to get more hectic. Some chill sketching and coloring. Sitting my tablet. I always feel like kind of weird. Oh, about the way that I sit to draw. Like it could be more comfortable. Never felt comfort or slight discomfort. Hey Loki, how you doing? A lot of work. Big old paragraph. Give me a moment. I'm gonna just drink some tea and then I'll give it a read. But by the heavens above, lords of gaming, my eyes deceive me. With its trickery, or do they see? Am I truly in the chat of Lord Greymouse, the wisest of all art streamers? You saved gamers from the clutches of EA devils and the battle of EA versus gamers, and we won minimal losses. An event like this, is only possible once every 1,000. Praise be, the Gaming High Council. All hail, great. Live 1,000 years. Unlikely, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming in with such kind words. Always appreciated. Mouse, honestly, this is some great background music as per usual. This is, what's it called? It's Endless Legend. Very good. I like it. I used to play Endless Legend a lot in high school. Endless Legend, yeah, but I played it a lot in high school. Very good game. If you like Civilization, Sid Meier's Civilization, then you'd like Endless Legend because it's pretty much the same thing, but it's got a better UI. Some things aren't perfect, but it's pretty good. Must admit, I really do like doing the shadow work in the illustrations art. You really see an image come together and you see like depth build and develop through it. It's really cool. So, Mouse, you swear to God on Twitch you got a stream heads up saying Grey Mouse Inc. will be streaming Dead Space 2 at 7:30 p.m. today, but maybe it was Twitch being Twitch, I don't know. Maybe. I may need to just update the schedule then, because we're done with Dead Space. Dead Space 2. Yeah, that doesn't make sense though. We're done with Dead Space for now. We may also be, well, we'll see how things go, but we may be off games for a little bit. Happened yesterday, yeah. I'll look into it. And I'm not saying we're not going to play games, I mean that, because we're about to jump into Control. We're going to jump into Control next. Like, next time I play games, but I'm also, looking for means to, focus on the illustration. That is a big part of what I do. Well, it is mostly, the big part of it. I think you've sent me a photo. And I don't doubt you. It is weird. Very possible that it could just be me. Sorry, I'm just very burpy. I may have like done something incorrect on the schedule. If so, that's good because I can fix that. I would rather it be something I can fix than it be, not random Twitch thing that continues to annoy my viewers or show up or misinform my viewers. That would be bad. That I wouldn't like. But it's a photo of the stream's heads up for my stream. What I sent you was the one for other stream. Oh, weird. You can do that if you want. I mean, it's just the sort of thing I'll have to check anyway, so it won't matter. Like, I don't necessarily need proof. That's what I'm saying. Like, I believe you. Oh, yeah. You should definitely be skewered in the shadow, so fun. You got a hood, so for a bit of shadow. Ooh, Undertale song. Very nice. As also like as just a bit of an update and news and stuff, I'm also probably going to be branching out into different forms of art. Well, not different forms of art, but different like content that I'll release every so often. Like this comic is the priority, and it will remain the priority pretty constantly. But I'm also going to start releasing newer stuff or different stuff that is more regular because people either have to wait for a chapter release, see all of it, or tune into the streams, which is, nice and would be good if people did do that. But ultimately, there's no reason to push people one way or another. However, I'd like to have content that I could release more regularly. And so I will be working on a comic or a series of very short comics that basically just go into like my daily life and my friends and like the daily life of my friends and stuff. So just fun little things that happen in our lives. And that will be called Toe Beans because I'm depicting characters or my friends and things like that as animals, as I'm Grey Mouse Inc., so they all have to be animals as well. But yeah, I thought that would be super cute and super fun. But that is something for you guys to look forward to in the near future to start happening. It'll also keep my skills fresh and keep my, and moving. That when I come and do RATBB streams, I'm on it, like, I don't need to warm up to draw something good and stuff. Fuck is
off. Fuck off. Stream.
no way I compulsively save now as well. It's just the thing. Oh yeah, just great salesmanship. It's like, you want to get the inside scoop on why I wasn't around for streams recently? Join the Discord. Get the inside scoop there. I probably won't talk about it much. If you know, you know. I've been busy. Not busy, but I've had personal going on. As we're getting closer to the end of this chapter, one thing I'm really gonna miss is the night um setting and getting to draw with like full shadow and explore shadow artistically. That I'm gonna miss. Been really cool. Like just making shadows that look like this is super, super cool. But we're gonna have quite a bit less of it in the next chapter. Well, a good bit less of it, really. Like, no, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's next chapter is during the day. Spoilers. Just like how I spoiled that Ratchet says yippee in a previous panel. Not that anyone, like, it doesn't actually, like, surely it doesn't actually bother anyone if I spoil minute things like that. It would be really weird if people were actually bothered. Like, stop giving away spoilers. I want to read it and figure it out for myself. And it's like, shut up. Tell you what I want to tell you. Me just having fake arguments, not existent critics. Gonna happen. Gonna deal with stuff. Idiots. I'm not. I'm only joking. Not idiots. Enthusiastic readers. Ah, wood grain line in the wood grain. Wrong wood grain. No. Mouse, ever since you've been gone, you've been playing a lot of AC Black Flag. Ooh, yeah. Isn't that's the one you haven't played before, isn't it? First time, and you think you're going to enjoy it for the most part, but you will quit the Assassin's Creed games when one of the games is that game most people don't like, or you think you will quit then. That's fair. Black Flag is incredible. On a first playthrough, I wish I could wipe my memory of that game so I could play it again because the climbing physics is definitely it's the older style of Assassin's Creed like climbing physics. So it sometimes feels a bit clunky and slow, but like other than that, it's so good. And it's got a good like it's got good like enemy escalation as well. It's such a good game, and the sailing's good and fun. Like I know it was started in 3, like Assassin's Creed 3, but it was just perfected in Black Flag. Not sure what game it is that killed the series or whatever, but you're pretty sure you'll stop there. That's fair. I think if you stop at Black Flag, it's pretty good. I think that's a safe place to stop, really. Doesn't doesn't poison your image of the rest of the series. It's a good place to end it, I think. Internet cut out. Did you say tree running was perfected in Black Flag? No, sailing. Tree running is fine in Black Flag. I think it's still clunky. But like the free running is clunky still in Black Flag. Like it works, but it's still a bit temperamental. how is sailing perfected in Black Flag? You're only 1/4 of the way done, so maybe you haven't gotten to that point, but the sea shanties are what make it much, much better. I mean, the physics and the controls and the fact that there is still plenty to do while on the sea, I think, because they don't come back to it. Well, actually, they do come back to it, but it's just nowhere near as good. I mean, Assassin's Creed, the sailing, like, game mechanics are good, are perfected. Black Flag. Because I was also talking about Assassin's Creed 3, and sailing is introduced in Assassin's Creed 3, just nowhere near as good. And what I was saying was that it was perfected in Black Flag, and then maybe overused a little bit later on, but still good. Oh, okay, yeah, there's much more to do than just go on a mission. Yeah, you agree. Yeah, that's what I mean by perfected. I'm also talking in comparison to Assassin's Creed 3, which is like, its sailing physics and mechanics are fine, but pretty fucking dull otherwise. And compared to Black Flag as well. I would also say, since you're an early game, get used to tailing missions. You do them a lot in Black Flag. Like following behind someone. That a lot. Is it true that Black Flag is a good game, just not a good Assassin's Creed game? No, it's both. I think it's the last good Assassin's Creed game. It's got one of the better stories and one of the most likable assassins since Ezio. There's more tailing missions. There's a fuck ton. You've only done the tailing on foot. Wait until you get tailing on boat. There's more tailing missions. No, I did one of them and didn't. No, there was considerably more. There are a lot in that. I think that's one of the drawbacks of the game, is that there are a lot of tailing missions. Follow a lot of Templars. Fine though. Yeah, and you get missions where you're tailing other ships on a ship, which is fucking stupid, because they would know that that you're following them because you're the only ship on the sea other than them, and you're going to the exact same port as they are. But like I said, I still really enjoy the game. The game is really good. It's really beautiful as well for the generation it came out in. Edward is a really likable character despite being a objectively pretty bad dude. But it's also nice to have a character who is motivated by greed and is still likable. Because, like, let's be honest, originally, starting out, he is motivated by greed. He just wants the cash. Which I think is really fascinating. It's a really cool story hook. That the guy we're playing as is actually, like, objectively, a pretty bad dude. Um, If it's in the middle of the fucking ocean and you see a ship tailing you, it's kind of obvious what they want and it's not good. If they were your friends, you would know that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, I can't remember it very well because I think the last time I played Black Flag was many, many years ago. Um, but I think when you only tail other ships during storms. Realistically, that's how pirates during 1715 were. They wanted money and that was it. Yeah, exactly. And Edward is no exception, but I like how he is no exception. He's not, this devout hero. Or, even like, he's not like cheeky like Ezio was, but Ezio was motivated by revenge at first, and then he kind of was forced upon this path because his father was gone and all this stuff, and he had a responsibility to the world, that jazz. But then, yeah, Edward is just like, I'm in it for myself, getting some cash. This seems like a very profitable opportunity, and then he kind of continues to follow it down that path, and he gets in a whole lot of fucking trouble for it. Tailing ships in a fucking storm? Yeah, yeah. Gotta get used to them storms. They are dangerous, but you can learn to ride them out. And you will learn to ride them out. You have to. You want them to blue. Oh, wait, no, reals. Although Ezio is motivated by greed is justifiable. Yes, it's not best motivation, but I mean, you would do it too. I think, yeah, well, Ezio was motivated more by revenge at first. And it's like this kind of consuming path for him because like his first two was, oh, I know, his first three assassinations are horrifying. Like they're horrifyingly barbaric. Like he offers the people he's killed absolutely no dignity or respect. The way he treats their corpses and things like that. Um, and I find like that's why Ezio is such a fascinating character because he's such a likable human being, but brought right to the edge because of his grief and his hunger for revenge. And only through through the brotherhood is he given peace, which I think is a powerful kind of story. Um, but then they redo it with three, where they make Connor just seek out revenge, but they almost make his barbaric behavior, like they almost try to justify his barbaric behavior in the way he treats corpses or treats the bodies of his enemies. Like he does kind of the same thing where he offers them absolutely no respect in death and things like that. But he in the story he's justified, or he's made to be kind of justified in it. When the truth is he's actually kind of undoing a great deal of progress. And he actually ends up inadvertently fucking over his own people because he's just purely motivated by revenge. So I think they don't do the story very well. And then the next like most interesting character, I don't remember his name, but the assassin from Assassin's Creed Origins, Bayek. He is a character who is completely consumed by revenge in the start, and it's like really fascinating because you're just like, oh shit, this guy is like super unpredictable, and he's not justified in his pursuit of revenge like at all. It's like he is unnerving and kind of like terrifying, but in a really exciting way, or like as a character who you want to play as. But I don't think they do it justice. from what I remember. I can't remember because I haven't played it all the way through. He kills DePatsy and he cusses him out as he dies. It's Uncle Mario, shout out to him. It says Requiescat in Pace for the first time. And Ezio takes after that. Yes, but he doesn't. But he still doesn't fully like. What I like about the Assassin's Creed 2 is that he doesn't understand the term, or he doesn't understand the significance of that, because the next person he kills, DePatsy's father, he displays his corpse from the tower that he killed him on, despite saying Requiescat in Pace and all that stuff. He still like disrespects the dead. But I find that immensely fascinating because if he hadn't, his arc wouldn't, his character development wouldn't feel genuine. You catch what I mean? Because he's allowed to have faults. Oh, pardon me. And I like that he is not perfect. It makes him a multifaceted character, and I like that a lot. As someone who is trying to write fascinating characters, I find it really very interesting to delve into that kind of story aspect. Yeah, he's naked and hanging from a building you cornered him on. Yeah, exactly. It's like really deeply unnerving, but it's like he would pursue revenge, at whatever cost. And it's interesting because, like, in most depictions of revenge, you always see it. You never viewed it that way, but you agree. He says something, but he doesn't mean it. Yeah, he knows the words, but he doesn't understand the merit of them yet. But I really like that the story goes to great lengths to teach him that, and by the end, he is a very likable character who still kills people because he does it no longer for revenge, but for the greater good. Which I find very compelling as a character, and that's why they stuck with him for like 3 games. He had this foundation as a very compelling character. I love it. I love it. And what I like about Edward is he goes on a fairly similar path in that he is very reluctant to help the assassins at first. Because really, it's a paycheck to him. And for the most part, he actually doesn't help the assassins at all. He utilizes their resources for his own good for a great deal of it. And many of the pirates he knows know of the assassins but don't get involved because it's more about freedom than it is about protecting the order of the world and stuff like that. But I do find it deeply fascinating because he is led to doing the right thing because of a dear friend who believes in this and then ends up being changed by the good people in his life. People who aren't necessarily classically good people. They're all, pirates and scallywags and such. But anyone can change. And I like that. And I like that it is through the people he cares about most that he is changed for the better. Lovely. I mean, necessary, of course, but lovely. And one thing I was going to add, just slightly darker shadows. Thanks for spoiling it for you, Mouse. You haven't gotten to that point. What? Where he becomes a good person? He becomes an assassin? It's Assassin's Creed. I could talk it about. I did, well, I'll admit, I did what I could to avoid spoilers. I may have, like, leaked a little bit of it in there, but, like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. What am I saying? You came to my stream, I'm gonna spoil what I like. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. That's no way to talk to Ray Mouse. Do as I wish. Yeah, I mean, that's shadow wise. Check. Eh, fine. You're right, Mass, but you didn't know he turns objectively good. Well, I feel like maybe objectively good is even then still a strong word coming from me. He does the right. Well, he might do the right thing. Oh, who am I fucking? Who am I fucking? Yeah, actually, not bad. Can you not spoil it? I can do whatever the fuck I want. This is my stream. I like. Guess what? Bruce Willis was always dead. Sixth Sense. The only good Shyamalan film. And his star. Dead. Was bloody dead the entire time. Fuck you. Haven't seen it yet? Should have seen it before then. Didn't want shit spoiled. Don't come to the grim stream. Vibrance. Yeah, it's only slight. Yeah. I mean, the highlights as subtle as possible. Do not want being too. Should you upgrade broadside cannons for offense or upgrade hull armor for defense? Depends on what you're good at. Find yourself taking more damage, then probably hull defense. If you find that you actually need you're doing like decently in offensive combat, but you're just not getting that damage, then probably gun. Because like it's from what I have gathered, it's still early game for you. So it's it's not gonna have too huge of an effect. Go either way, either or. I think when I did it, I went offense first and second, purely because you can knock targets off the board faster than they can cause damage to you, then you would have greater success. And if you can maneuver in a way in which you avoid damage altogether, then the whole armor does not make much of a difference. Catch my meaning. It makes the fight shorter if you have greater offense. If you have greater offense, then the fight lasts less time. If you have greater, oh, that's the same color. If you have this, if you have greater defense, then the fight will last longer. But worst case scenario, you die. Like your hull dies. So it's usually just better to go with offense rather than defense. In my opinion, in my humble opinion. You'll max upgrade your ship regardless what you do, but you do want what's objectively better first. Yes, and that's very fair. In that case, I would say, yeah. Attacky. The old cheeky. Sure, people would agree, but I don't give a shit what other people say. I'm a moose. I'm the moose. Yeah. Live with it. How can you do the thing where you swim deep underwater and go from barrel to barrel for air? You need the diving bell for that. Once you have that, then you can do it. I think that's story based, so it will be given to you at a certain point in the story. So don't worry about rushing into it. You can't upgrade it or you can't like buy it or buy the upgrade until presented to you in the story. So I wouldn't worry. Focus your upgrade points. Like hunting iguanas and making pouches from their bodies. Favorite bit of that game. First island I get to, just chasing iguanas and making as many of the upgrades as I could. Like as early on as I could. Nightfall in game, but like it was hilarious. It was great and a good idea. Nice, my teeth. Disgusting. Disgusting. Okay. Good hunt, but you genuinely like some animals. Iguanas are cool to you since they're part of the lizard family. Whales are cool in general, etc. Yeah. And so here's the thing. I fully understand where you're from. I'm a man who I'm a mouse who catches spiders in a cup. I would rather just let them out, like send them outside than kill them. Like I do not kill insects, let alone animals. Um, but these are digital animals, so I actually kind of allow. Like I don't. I find that it it doesn't do well to get caught up on that. You know, you should hunt, but you also don't want to kill them. I get that. I get that. And I do understand as well, but for me, I think they're digital and they're not real. I think that for me personally, I can let that go, and it's totally okay if you feel that you can't as well. So I don't want to make you feel like like I don't want to make you feel bad if you do not feel compelled to hunt animals because you feel that strongly about it. Like totally okay. My way of getting around it is just that I think in my own head, I think because they are not real, I'm not actually harm to any animals. But again, that's and you're going to hunt right now, but damn, those are some class animals. They're great. They're really cool in Black Flag as well. Yeah, I do agree, and it can feel rough on them. I like iguanas too. I used to be, as a kid, I loved lizards and stuff, and I still do, of course, but not quite as much anymore. Not as focused on it. That's why. Dislike them. Okay. But I only have so much time in the day to be astounded and amazed by things. Most of the day, I do end up being astounded and amazed by a lot of things. Yeah. Shadow, new layer, add a shadow cover. For skin colors and warm shadows. Token will you also save any stranded sailors, since you like to imagine you saved them from a storm, and if they died in battle, well, at least they got to know people first. Yeah, I do that too. I always save stranded soldiers, sailors, stranded sailors. Always. Even if I've got full capacity. That makes little difference. That's worse. That's even worse. I hate it. That's fine, I can live with that. Don't mind it. I could... Oh, weird. You know, almost stylistic, which I like. When you fully, when you get fully upgraded, you won't hunt anymore just to hunt, even if it does give you money. Yeah, I think I did the same as well. I don't go out of my way. Though, actually, no, never mind. Spoilers and such. Gonna do what I can to avoid spoiling shit for you. What's weird is that you don't mind going hunting in real life. Huh, that is weird. I mean, I guess it is weird. Right. See just the unclean disgustingness that is my shadow cover. Very messy. Incomplete. Disgust. Can be neater. Say about weird. Oh, has nothing to do with hunting, so I might hold on. You also completely forgot that hunting was the way to upgrade your pouches until you said, I remember going to all those iguanas, all those islands and killing all the iguanas. Yeah, and the like wild cats as well. Yeah. Yeah, it is a shame, but it is also an interesting like addition and makes sense because in a world like that you kind of need to be self-reliant. So that I understand. Sorry, big yawn. Big yawn. Now she needs a speech bubble. This lady needs a speech bubble. Do it. Speech bubble. And to avoid spoiling anything for you guys, I'm not. I don't like that it's perfectly circular. I want a bit of like bob. No, I can only do perfectly circular. Hold on. Come on, give me a little bit of leeway. Okay, that's not it now. Sweet. Okay, cool. Easy. Problem solved. Let's go for a bada bing, bada boom. Okay, there we go. You said something. In a world like this, you'd use everything you can. Yeah, exactly. And that's also one of the reasons why I can kind of explain away killing animals and stuff like that. I would actually like. I'm actually in the slow process of becoming vegetarian. Because I genuinely dislike harming animals and causing harm to animals in any kind of way. I don't think I want to become vegan just because I that lifestyle feels unhealthy, and from research that I have done into it, it just seems unhealthy too. Like if done wrong, can be very unhealthy. Sorry, but I just stopped reading your chat. Give me a moment. Save the meat to eat. Use the fat as something to burn. Use the fur and hide as clothing or a blanket. They have sharp teeth. That can be a cool knife or something. And if they are poisonous, well then there you go. You have poison for stealth kills. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And in that kind of historical context, I can kind of get away with just being like, yep, I could probably kill animals and stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise, not a fan. Not a fan of hunting, personally. Not that that is a bad thing, of course. Do what you like. Do what makes you happy. It doesn't cause too much harm to the rest of the world. Highlights, because I actually realized that I did not do the highlights for this. I see a message. Zombie Slayer, I'll respond in a second. Just hyper focusing. Just a moment. Be with you in a. Lucky pickle, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Save that. Okay. Causing harm to animals is a pretty big piece of shit move, but since you love meat, you can't judge hunting. Just don't be cruel about it, and you don't care. Yeah, that I agree with. But I'm thinking in the next few years I'll probably progress to becoming vegetarian. You know, even though I love, you know, bacon and stuff, and most people who do like you know, do go vegetarian are always like, "Oh, I love bacon and I miss bacon and stuff like that." I do love bacon and I will miss bacon, but I think it's for the best. You know, it's just the right thing to do. I stopped eating fish halfway through last year, just because the fishing industry is real fucked up, and I don't like the harm that's caused to our oceans. You know, just overfishing and things like that. You know, 70% of the pollution in the oceans is fishing nets. So the less demand that we have for fishing, the less fishing that will be done. And I know, like, here's also one thing that I struggle with is that, you know, you stop supporting fishing and stuff like that, then people will be out of jobs. And that is terrible. But I think long term, it's better for the world to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. And then we can integrate change and support people who need that support. All right, but that's a panel done. Another panel down. That being said, I am Australian, so I have killed animals before. But additionally to that, I didn't do it for fun. Did it for self-defense or things like that, or accidentally. Yeah. Last big panel. This is a big panel. Panel actually doesn't have cut betweens, which I'm actually kind of excited for. Oh, this is green.
Fuck. Fuck.
All right. I see your message. Zombie Slayer, I will respond to it in a. I'm going to just start acknowledging if I see your message, and then I'll letting you know that I will respond to it when I can. You love seeing all the islands that aren't only that are only half the size an average house does. And I see animals and think, how the fuck do you bobcats get here in the first place? They probably grew up there, and I agree, it's super cool and super weird, but like, yeah, they probably just were born there, grew up there, and then they die there. Their life cycle is very small, just a small place. But then again, also I think maybe game design is a little limited in that respect because yeah, there maybe should be more to it than like how did they get there? It's a good question, especially for the very small islands. Lizards and stuff, that's fine, that makes sense. Scenes. Stretching as well. First time you killed a bobcat was from a quick time events, and honestly, that killed a lot of your drive to play. Yeah, fair. Running after it, they're just stabbing it. That was my hunting manifesto. Not sneak attacking it. Sometimes I was just like, there's a bobcat. And I'll just run after it. Run after it and stab it. It's probably fine. You've told me this before, but it's just that you hate QTEs in action games. Yeah, it sucks. It's needless. It's bloody needless. I know what you mean. Doesn't make sense. We got foreground shit going on. It's cool. I'm actually super excited to add just this foreground stuff. Back out just a bit so that I can add the waves. Don't look clunky. You haven't played Syndicate, Unity, and anything after that. You played a bit of Rogue and Liberation, though. Fair enough. I liked Rogue when I played it, but I played it in high school. So, the gauge of reference for good was different. I don't know if I'd even recommend it. I've replayed Black Flag a few times. That's why I still love it. Oh, you haven't played. Okay. Even so. Syndicate is alright. And Unity is fine. Like that's the thing. They're the start of like the passable ones. Like they're fine, but they're nothing new. Kind of meh. And like, because nothing hugely new is introduced to the series, it feels very much the same, which is really unfortunate because it's like we got Black Flag, which introduced something hugely new, which is sailing and the piracy and a storyline that was fresh. Whereas now we got like the Unity and um, Unity and Syndicate do not bring a whole lot new to it. And I think that's where the the slow downfall begins. I have to cut his hand. So I think we talked about this before, but when in 2 and Brotherhood, the thought of the Apple of Eden in the possession of every single fucking world leader and politician was a bit excessive. Yeah, it was dumb. It was a bit like, well, it was one of those funny, like, stupid explainer ways in that, like, how did they, like, make so much change with this power? And it's like, oh, because they had an Apple of Eden or whatever, which is dumb. Yeah. And then it's supposed to be this hugely powerful thing, but then in the next games they introduce different like apples, like equivalents to the Apple of Eden, where it's like it's a different thing, but it's just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Apple of Eden. Because we know you guys are sick and tired of hearing about apples of Eden. But yeah, started with Unity and Syndicate from them being samey. Damn, that fucking sucks. Yeah, samey and just not very interesting. Well. Like the climbing physics got significantly better. And I think one of the best things they implemented was a descent system where you could safely parkour downwards, which was like non-existent in the previous game. So you'd kind of have to just drop or find a way to like make a parkouring kind of descent downwards, but it was always really difficult. If the path wasn't there, you just had to drop. So Unity introduced descent in parkour. And that was one of their selling points as well. They were like controlled descent and fluid parkour and fluid free running. And it was like, that was a nice addition, but everything else was very samey. So as a result, it just wasn't very interesting. And that's why I mean, Unity also had like a fuck ton of problems as well, like game problems and like glitches and stuff like that. So as a result, it wasn't doing itself any favors. It was the first one to introduce like co-op multiplayer and stuff like that, but that never worked. And then it had like an RPG system where your armor dictated your abilities and skills, but it wasn't very well thought out. So as a result, you didn't like, your armor really didn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Despite it being like a big part of, like a big new thing for the game. It was like an RPG system that didn't have the RPG system. So as a result, it felt a bit broken. Maybe it was a mod or something, but you're pretty sure it was a bug, and at all times you could see, and at times all you could see for your character in Syndicate or Unity was their teeth, their eyes, and that was it. Everything else was a black hole, and so their eyes and teeth look like they're floating. No, that wasn't a mod. That was just a bug. That was an in-game bug. That was one of the biggest bugs that I remember seeing. It wasn't a mod. It was a mistake. A mistake in the code that caused like characters' faces to just disappear. And I'll actually admit something. I've read one of the Assassin's Creed books. And it was the Unity one. It was the book that was accompanied Assassin's Creed Unity. And it was fine, but very boring. Like you follow the female love interest of the assassin in that book, and it's pretty boring. It's not like, it's just supplementary material, but not very good supplementary material. Made it pretty boring to like read. I didn't get through it as a result, and I like reading. Give me a moment, just being confused by the draft layer. Which game was so bad that they had to give fans the AC3 remaster? Maybe it's a different franchise, but you know the video game was so bad they had to give players an Assassin's Creed 3 remaster. I don't know. Maybe Unity? I can't be sure. Unity was very broken on release. Like, very broken on release. But beyond that, I cannot comment. I do not know. So is Syndicate and Unity not worth it? If so, then just spoil it. You don't care. If it's that bad, it's not even worth your time, then just say whatever. So the thing about the Assassin's Creed Unity book, the spoiler in it is not for Unity or for Syndicate. The spoiler in it is for Black Flag, and I do not want to tell you because it will ruin something for you, so I'm not going to tell you. Not as in like it's not going to ruin something for your enjoyment of the game, but story-wise, it will make things difficult. So I'm not going to tell you. It's better that you don't know, genuinely. I think Syndicate's worth it. Actually, coming back to your question, I think Syndicate is worth it. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Unity is pretty shite, so it doesn't matter. Well, you can spoil the games of Syndicate and Unity. I mean, oh, and although you didn't expect the advice, thank you for saying it. Yeah, it's all good. So Syndicate, you follow two twins, which I thought was a really cool dynamic, and it actually gives you an opportunity. It's the first like real opportunity where you get to play as a female assassin and female protagonist, Evie, and when I played through it, I found her to be the most compelling of the characters. Jacob Fry is fine, and you know, charismatic, and pretty much the Assassin's Creed algorithm for charismatic, witty male assassins, basically. So he's like, you can see a lot of Ezio and Edward in his characterization, which is fine, but he's also very stupid, which doesn't help. Like, really, of the assassins in the series, he's pretty dumb. If they're that bad, just spoil it. Yeah, I'll spoil a little bit of stuff for you. I liked Evie. Evie was a very interesting character, but I don't think they did like feminism any kind of justice in that she's a great female led character, but basically the first male assassin we are introduced to, they make her fall for him instantly. They have they have no chemistry at all. One of the things I liked the least about the game was that at the end of the game they're just together, and it's like, why do we have this strong female lead and then just force her to couple with like the first guy who exists in the game, like the first guy who isn't her brother? And the opening like tutorial kind of space is really interesting and cool, and we're introduced to like some very fascinating characters, and they are completely wasted for the rest of the game. So one of the characters introduced to a guy who basically escapes capture and binding. So he was tied up and escapes like almost mystically. And then you know what he is in the story of the game? He is the mini game guy. So he runs the underground boxing league, and that's it. He has no storyline other than that. A famous historical figure that exists within Syndicate is a railway line magnate. So someone who like owned the railways and made big changes, who was a woman who secretly dressed as a man, which was very interesting. But they never address it, which I find really weird. The first guy who isn't her brother, Mouse Princess Leia, is in your chat. Yeah, exactly. Like pretty much that same kind of dynamic is that the dude is the first guy there, and she actually has a fight with him, and it's never resolved either. So he does something deeply irresponsible, despite being the leader of the assassins in London, like the head of the assassins in London. He does something deeply irresponsible and selfish that puts the Brotherhood in danger. She gets angry at him for it, and it is never resolved. It is never, like, genuinely never resolved in the game. She just forgives him off, like, out of game, and then they're together. Like, it's infuriating, like, story writing. What else is there? That bit shits me. Yeah, so like some really like fascinating historical characters and stuff like that, and they're just brutally wasted because the historical figure who was a woman who dressed as a man and worked and owned like ended up owning most of Britain's like railways and stuff like that, and married a woman as well. Um, she's like the carriage racing lady. She like runs the carriage races. So her character is completely wasted. They just use like the big historical names as like, oh, these characters were secretly assassins or whatever. Things like that. Huge like, classic Assassin's Creed go-to things. It's like, oh, this historical character, they helped the assassins, all the Templars or whoever. Leonardo da Vinci was so popular, and admittedly he was great. But like, yeah. Um, they could do quite a lot with a woman dressing as a man who is also important as fuck and is historically famous. Yeah, they could do. She's the carriage race lady. So she's like, you go to her and you like open dialogue with her, and then you race carriages, and that is it. Her storyline does not go further than that. Which I think is fucking such a huge fucking waste. You have an Assassin's Creed game centered at the golden age, the historical golden age for innovation and technology and building and industrialization, and they do absolutely fucking nothing with it. Story-wise, it is such a huge waste. It's so fucking boring. What's worse is that there is also like, not like what's worse, what I noticed is that also there's like a very clear bias towards Evie's character, story-wise, in that she's the responsible one, which I did like, to be fair. I did like. I thought she was great. I thought she was a really great character. But there's like, she's the responsible one. She's the one who kind of clearly should be in charge of the Brotherhood in London and beyond. She actually has a great deal of importance and things like that. But both of the Fry, so the Evie and Jacob Fry, so both of the Fry twins get a like Apple of Eden type item by the end of the game. Evie's turns her invisible if she is standing still. Jacob's, I think, gives him bonus damage in combat. So it becomes pointless playing Jacob after a certain point. Because as an assassin doing stealth missions, Evie's power is so much more useful. 1850s Industrial Revolution is incredibly important. Yeah, and they do nothing with it. It's like Gangs of New York. Like, literally, like, the storyline is basically Gangs of New York, as opposed to industrialization. Oh, also, Alexander Graham Bell is in it, is in the game. He's one of the historical figures who has slightly more importance. However, the way he's written, he has a great deal more chemistry with Evie than the guy she ends up with. And then additionally, his inventions, unlike the Leonardo da Vinci stuff, where his inventions were actually greatly useful, Alexander Graham Bell's stuff is just kind of like there, and take it or leave it. Pretty boring. Story-wise, it's not deeply compelling to have a historical character who was a great innovator for science. But he kind of just does nothing for you, or does relatively nothing for you. You go full Peaky Blinders if you've seen that show. I have. I did like it. I could only get through like the first 2 seasons because I found it quite slow. Good though. It is very good though. It could have, but it didn't. It's tragic. It could have been really interesting. Oh, and if you hated the feather collecting in 2 and beyond, in this one you collect flowers for the guy that Evie ends up with, because he likes to press flowers.
Oh.
Who gives a shit? Gives a shit. I don't hate the character that she ends up with, but he's just so boring and he has no chemistry with her at all. Not enough is done to establish their relationship. Just someone who writes stories is infuriating. Like, if you're gonna have them be together, fucking inform the audience. Like, show it. Show it in motion. It's such an important thing is establishing character relationships. I will also say in Syndicate, they have a DLC which is a Jack the Ripper DLC. Pretty boring. Don't even bother. Like it doesn't do that like concept justice. But the character design for Evie Fry is different. So it's a completely different woman. As Evie, like she looks so fucking different. And not because like it's a few years like quite a few years later and she's aged. She just looks different. Like they used a different model for her face, and it's so weird. And no one ever brings it up, and I don't know why. It makes me feel like I'm going insane. That's what you hate about some games. They give you upgrades for your character, and let's just say there are 6 upgrades, but only 2 are actually good. Give me objectively good upgrades and make them all useful. Yes. Like the Batman games, like the Arkham games, they make all those items are useful, and upgrades are like fascinatingly useful and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. So the guy she ends up with is not necessarily a bad character. His personality is just flatter than a board. Not even so much that, it's just that they have no chemistry. They have no chemistry, and then he's also just not a responsible leader. So I think in the timeline of the games of the unit, like the Assassin's Creed universe, his father is the guy from the India game, like the India, not mini game, but it's like it was a series of side scroller games. Um, one of which being in China, and the fact that they didn't actually pursue a full game in China was a huge mistake. But one of them's in India, and in the timeline of the games and stuff, that's that character's father, so he is put in charge of the Brotherhood because of nepotism, and he's not fit to be, like, he's not fit to lead the assassins. And it shows because he just makes stupid decisions and he's just incompetent, like when it comes to leadership. That is weird. If they're going to look different, give me a fucking reason why besides because reasons. Yeah, like no one ever. I could never find someone who, like, talked about it, but I'm just like, it's a different woman. It's like a different woman's face. She's not even ginger. Or I can't remember how it was like hugely different, but I think like the nose was completely different and things like that. AC Chronicles, you know what I mean? You have it. Haven't played it, uh, but sure, you guess you will. I haven't heard. Um, I haven't played Chronicles, but I heard good things about it, so no qualms. But yeah, the assassin in the India part of that game is this character's father. But yeah, it's such a weird storyline to follow, I think. And that's what the bit I don't get is that he's head of the assassins in London because of nepotism. So I need to fix the arm's just slightly not right. Publish. There we go. That's way better. I've missed something. That's fine. It's fine. I know what I've missed and I can fix that pretty quick. It's just another panel that I need to throw on top. I knew I would miss it, I think. I have this feeling I kind of knew ahead of time that I was going to miss it. That's okay. I knew, so I can't be blamed for making that mistake. Right. And they're outlined all the way around.
My wrist.
Crack. Okay. Fucking Minecraft. Oh. Look, let's not forget that. As COD Zombies Halo Dead Space fan, you've seen all those games be wasted potential to say what you want and get it all out of you if you want to. I'm not like, not even really disappointed. I knew it was gonna fall. Like, it was gonna lose its spark. I was prepared. Assassin's Creed 3 is not good. And I played that and I realized that and I was like, okay, we're on the last legs here. And then Black Flag came out and I was like, whoa, this is really good. But I can still feel that that stagnation building. So yeah, not even that I want to vent, really, or like I don't even really feel the need to vent either. I knew it was happening. You could see it. You could see it in the stars. You knew it was coming. Mouse, either you missed the chat above or it's not there. It's a long chat. It's probably not there. I think there's probably a limit on messages, like message amounts. If you got a long message, then it's not going to show up, I don't think. The longest message I've seen from you so far is about upgrades. If it's that, then I have addressed that. But I don't think it is. Yeah, if you got a long message, give it to me in parts. Because I think it might have a limit on spam. Because if you write just a long message, it's probably going to be classified as spam and just not be given to me. So yeah. The Jack the Ripper DLC sounds like the most obvious fucking win ever, but no, because reasons. Why does it suck? So you don't waste your money, so you have more reasons to not play it. It's basically more of Assassin's Creed Syndicate with like a mystery, but it's a shit mystery because, spoilers, the assassin turns out to be a kid named, the Jack the Ripper turns out to be an assassin named Jack, who you are introduced to in the DLC, and has no bearing on the story. He's not like a character you meet or get to know. He just kind of pops up at some point, and then you're like, oh, that's Jack the Ripper. He was an assassin, and his name was Jack. And it's like, it sucks. Storyline wise, it's boring. It's just, yeah, not worth it. Worst of all. Because it suffers from the more of the same, nothing new syndrome, where a good portion of it is just more of the same and there is nothing new. There you go. So Rashid. Okay, have I forgotten something? Have I missed something? There's background and stuff, but I don't think it doesn't matter. Get away with putting nothing there. Or just grass and stuff. Grass and path. Oh. That's Jack the Ripper. He was an assassin and his name was Jack. Holy fuck, that sounds like the most bland sounding DLC. Well, that's pretty much what it is. And what's worse is that it focuses around Evie, which is fine. Which is a cool thing because she is the most compelling and interesting character in Syndicate. But during the gap between Syndicate and its DLC, she was in India, and Jacob was in charge, was head of the assassins in London. So the power and control of the London branch of the Assassin's Brotherhood was handed over to the least qualified person in that game. Went from one person who wasn't qualified to another person who wasn't qualified. And so it kind of just dismisses Evie from the beginning in a really weird way. In that her character is the main character, but also her exploits and endeavors in the main game are just not recognized. It's almost like you know, when like athletes or like wives of athletes or celebrities or, you know, anything who are accomplished people in their own rights in the news when they're referred to as wife of, you know, this person does this. You know, George Clooney's wife is a lawyer. And she's often referred to as wife of George Clooney, you know, as opposed to anything else. It's kind of like that, where she's just like, she married the previous head of the assassins who is Indian, and they went to India. Her exploits are the sum of other people's parts, which feels weird. Feels icky. It's in shadows because it's overly complicating things. Yeah, that's it makes her seem like she doesn't have her own name or personality. You see what I mean? Yeah, and I find that like, I don't know, it's disappointing for a game that like has been around for so long and has, you know, been criticized for its lack of female representation for a very long time. And they're like, we've learned. And then it's like, here's, you know, a good female protagonist. We're going to give her nothing. We're going to give her absolutely bloody nothing. That's what you wanted, right? Just like, and like, don't get me wrong, she's well written in the actual, like, the main game. But in the DLC, she's just given nothing. She's given no agency. She is just an extension of other people, which feels just insulting, almost, I would say. Yeah, cool. Because I would call you a Twitch streamer all the goddamn time. No, I would call you Grey Mouse since, of course, that's your online name. Yeah, exactly. Why, like, it's like, oh, the Twitch streamer Grey Mouse. Husband of, like, head of science or whatever. Like, that feels really diminishing. You know, it's like, I've accomplished things too, but I'm being described based on the sum of my partner's accomplishments. That just, yeah, it doesn't feel very progressive to me. So I dislike it. Not a fan. Ah, that's what that is. That's so weird. Also, Mouse, these enemy mortars are really fucking dick me down and are the bane of your existence. Yeah, they suck. They're really rough. Um, that's a, that's a rough one. I can't help you with that. They're like, you'll get better at them. I expect. Hope. I don't know. I think so. I'm sure you will, but you'll be fine. You would say that's Grey Mouse and he's a Twitch art streamer instead of just a streamer. Yeah. Yeah, because that's my, like, designation. It's my official designation on this platform. I almost said this cesspool I call her. And it's like, no, actually, like, I've come to know that Twitch is actually quite lovely. Like, the Twitch art community is quite lovely. So I'd never badmouth it. And now for my usual juvenile colouring in technique. Start with. Yeah. And I would think that if, like, I were in a relationship and that person were significantly more successful than me in whatever they do, I'd hope that if I was in news articles, they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, husband of this person, Grey Mouse, is like, I'm a person too. I'm a person too, please. I have accolades. I've done things. I've drawn pictures and things like that. Yeah, it's just like, why deny recognition for something that someone has earned? It shouldn't be about who they are associated with. It should be about who they are. My opinion. And it's not the cannons that fuck me over since there's a range. Since their range is pretty short, no, it's the infinite range mortars. Yeah, I guess. Can't remember too well, but I thought they were, like, relatively easy to avoid, like, to just move out of the way of. But then again, I think they also just do hit anyway. I'm sure they, like, if I played again, I'd probably recognize them and recognize them as the pains in the ass that they were. But that's not an arm. Very floss. Juvenile drawing style, yeah. For the win. Juvenile coloring style for the win. I want to get the coloring done by end of this stream. That'd be cool. Got a little bit more time. I kind of want to aim for 3 hours. If I don't get there, I don't get there. Fine. I'd rather shoot for the stars. Or shoot for the moon and end up among the stars. And not try at all. Hands. I love that while I'm coloring it, I'll just spout a random word. I'm just like, pants. There you go. Done. Throw some enthusiasm in. Bam. Orange. Oh, fuck. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can like, I could color the wrong parts. It literally does not matter because I'm intentionally coloring like a juvenile for this very reason. Because I will fill it in later. Properly. Ooh. Doesn't matter, you won't see it. Doesn't matter. Ah! Just panicking. Needlessly panicking, just like, oh no! Ratchet's got a cloak as well. I gotta fill that in cloak. No, it doesn't matter. You won't see it. You just won't see it. Pants, that's good. Good. Oh, it's like pretending to be like panicked. Well, I'm just like, oh, gotta fill this in. Hollow Knight theme, by the way. The Green Path. Oh, yes, do you think there should be a group of assassins that aren't part of the Brotherhood because everything has to relate back to the Templars and such? But what about assassins who don't know about the wider importance of being an assassin and just do what they want? Would that be good? I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's no way of there's no way of doing that without having to connect back to the assassins. I think, in my personal opinion, I think you would just like, how can they continue on existing, being disconnected from the assassins? If they're important, they'll align with the assassins. If they're not, then why should we know about them? I think, in that regard, it's a little bit hard to something like. Because as Star Wars fans, you hate everything related to the Skywalker family. Do stuff about people who don't know about the Jedi's or Sith. And that is fair. I think that's a much wider, like a much larger world, so you can step away from the Skywalkers. Um, it gets harder and hard. Like, the more places you go in the galaxy, the more places, or the more people know about Jedi and things like that, because they had such a strong hold on the universe for such a long period of time. Whereas with the assassins, it's like there's no way you can operate as a secret organization without at least vaguely knowing of other secret organizations, where the assassins and Templars know each other. But you see your point. Yeah, it's like it would be an interesting idea, but because of the scope, because the scope of the world is our world, so it doesn't expand out too much, sadly. And if historically they've existed for such a long period of time, there's no way of avoiding their existence. Oh,
Ugh.
there's a cloak here. Fuck.
Fuck.
No, I'm pretending to hurriedly finish this page. It doesn't matter if I don't get it done. Just doesn't. Like, I'll get it done when I get it done. They enjoy the idea of like, I got an hour left to do this, to make this thing a thing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't and will not matter. Should make this brush smaller too. Now the last of us. As you said with the Apple of Eden in 2 and Brotherhood, it was the ties. This ties the assassins to the greater world. You hate having to rely on one group or people or family for a fictional universe. Yeah, absolutely. There should be more. And as we learn with the Templars, eventually they branch out to being Abstergo. And as a result, they actually have a greater reach in the world, unlike the assassins, who don't. And that's a big, like, compelling part of the story, is that they, as time goes on, they actually lose that that advantage they had over the Templars, because the Templars span so much further, and they focused so much more on expansion of their ideology, whereas the assassins actually held on to it and kept it secret. And so as a result, they dwindled in numbers and relied on like singular, exceptional assassins, whereas the Templars had many associates who maybe weren't quite as talented, but were cunning and, all these things. If you could make one AC game mechanics, what? I don't know if I fully understand your question, Zombie Slayer. So, Mouse, if you could make AC game mechanics, what would you do? Oh, if I could make... No, sorry, I'm going to need you to explain that. I don't fully understand what you've asked. So assassins such as Ezio are like Caesar or Leonidas, that when they die, well, shit, we aren't nearly as strong anymore. Is that accurate? Yeah. Which I think is an interesting concept as well, because basically, the assassins focused on individuality, uh, whereas the Templars focused more heavily on expansion, and as a result, longevity-wise, the Templars can have won and continued to win, while the assassins get like little victories over them. But the truth of the matter being, the Templars have the resources, they have the the bodies, the manpower, all this stuff to to just wait out the assassins. They don't even, like, the assassins historically cause issues for them every few, like, millennia, but long term they keep on chugging along. Like, it slows them down but doesn't stop them. It's all good, don't worry about that. You mean if I could have made the AC games more fun, make more sense with good gameplay mechanics, what would you add slash fix slash take out slash replace? After the Desmond storyline, I think it was completely unnecessary to add. So you will have seen it in Black Flag. I think the Black Flag outside of Animus stuff is pretty much pointless. And then in Unity, they reintroduce someone like Desmond, just on the Templars side, which is interesting enough. But you know, as I said, by then the game's kind of lost meaning for me, so I don't know much more than that. Also haven't said this yet, but I'm your AC nerd, like the games, but you like the games, but you're not me. You know, I knew plenty of people who like know a shit ton more about the Assassin's Creed games than me. I know a guy who actually read all the books. Insane. But okay, I'm happy to be that person for you as well. I know enough about it. I don't know a great deal about it, but I know enough. If Frosty's in, I think Frosty's played more Assassin's Creed games than me. Mick Frostio. Sometimes he pops in from time to time. Often with Nex. But yeah. He knows. He'll probably know Assassin's Creed games. He's a big gamer. Big old nerd, too. Big old nerd. Heart of gold. Soul of a nerd. Back of an old man. Soul of a nerd. Body of a nerd. Spine of an old man. With a bad spine. I mean, that's needlessly mean from me, but what can I, go get my victories where I can. The real world parts of Black Flag do seem most pointless, and instead just fill it. They pretty much are. The lady tour guide said to go upstairs and talk to a CEO, big desk guy for something. You have no fucking idea. You were so bored with it. You just want to go back to the Animus. Yeah, it's pretty pointless. If you like the background information and stuff like that, then it's good. Because it actually, so it provides, it provides a perspective of the previous game. So there's actually references to Altair and Ezio in it, but because it comes from like a game development kind of company framework and an Abstergo and Templar mindset and framework, it's really fascinating to watch as they like expand upon, or like they're just like Ezio Auditore da Friends would make a terrible game character because too hell-bent on revenge, or like too too revenge focused and things like that. And they actually have like little trailers for potential games like Assassin's Creed 2, like as a potential game, but then like denying it because of like a stupid reason. And I find that quite funny. Altair Ibn Allah Ahad. Game denied because character too boring. Main character uninteresting. And it's like, oh shit. Because you can assume that like what they used as like reasons were probably criticisms of those previous games. And I do actually find that fun because it's like it just like makes fun of itself in a sense, which is very cool. And I like how they did that. And speaking of those real world parts, do you think they should have been done better? You always seen them as extraordinarily fucking boring. And they kind of seemed they were like when it was Desmond, they were interesting, and they slowly got less and less interesting. Hence why he was put into that coma and then killed. Spoilers for anyone who doesn't know that, but Desmond goes into a coma, and in Revelations they just keep him in the Animus, so that he can kind of regain consciousness. And then he dies in 3, which is really lame. But yeah, like, yeah. But they were interesting with Desmond, and then they became boring or pointless. The game being self-aware of itself can be boring and stupid, but in that case it works. Yeah, if it were more stuff like that, that's interesting enough. But yeah, I think they completely dump it for Unity. So it's completely dumped and disposed of in Unity. You actually have no out of Animus stuff. You Unity is in that world like almost a TV series. It's like depicted as a TV series. You start the game by like watching like a mini trailer or playing in a mini trailer for a Knights Templar like thing where in France, like the English storming Normandy in the medieval era, and they find um, the like basically an apple of Eden, but it's a sword. And then the guy you play as being burned at the stake and killed, and then it jumps into actually the main game. But yeah, other than that, I don't remember any actual like in-game out of Animus stuff in the next few games until Unity, and then you play as a Templar. A game being self-aware. Oh yeah, I read that. And in AC world, that would be a thing. You would have short reviews, and the fact that they are real reviews of it are cool. Well, I assume they are. They may not be real reviews. My assumption is that they are what those are, but I can't be sure. Yeah, nope. Just the mouse. And poop. I think in the next chapter I'm going to simplify the backgrounds and stuff just a touch. So I've been learning a lot more anatomy and world design and stuff like that. And one of the things I want to start implementing is that if I don't need a background, there's nothing going on in the background, then I won't have a normal background. It might just be a blurred out space. So you can see some of the world, but it's just not quite as detailed. I think I might start doing that. It'll make the process a little bit quicker. And it'll save unnecessary hassle. Cool. Got work tomorrow as well, so I won't go past 3 hours. You would get rid of tailing missions, but you're sure that's the coldest take possible of AC. Yeah, they're alright. They're fine. They're not that bad, really. And it makes sense. You tail a target, you tail, a character. That's okay. I can respect that. Not too many. I think more importantly than getting rid of them altogether, just don't have too many of them. Is there any reason why wanted posters of Ezio in 2 and Brotherhood were on rooftops? No. Simple answer, no. It was because you could get to rooftops, so they just added them in because it was convenient for you then. Like, it wasn't, it alleviated some of the complexity of the game, and, because I think it would have been pretty unfair for a game to restrict wanted posters to just being on the ground, because then it serves no purpose to be up on the rooftops, like other than you're less likely to be detected. There would be no other reason to climb and to use the rooftops if the means of traveling safely on the ground was only on the ground, where it was the most difficult to get to, I guess, without being detected and quickly overwhelmed, because it's harder for the guards to get up to the rooftops than it is to get down the street corner, if you know what I mean. What's my favorite AC Easter egg from the first 3 games? Fuck. So, first 3 games are 1, 2, and Brotherhood. That really narrows it. That being said, I really like the Metal Gear Solid Leonardo da Vinci Easter egg. That one's funny. Really doesn't take itself seriously. Giant squid is cool. In 2, I'm just trying to remember, because you need to understand, I haven't played any of those 3 games in a very long time. Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci stuff is incredible. So good. It's like, this is a character we all love and grew attached to, even though he's an actual historical figure, and people now look back on him more fondly because of his existence within the Assassin's Creed universe. Actually, now that I've thought about it, the It's a Me Mario introduction of Uncle Mario is fantastic. It's a great Easter egg. That would be it. That would be my favorite. Don't recognize me? It's a me, Mario. Very good. Or, hey Altair, what's the matter with you? That's racist. You're racist. That one's funny. Dumb, but funny. You love the squid Easter egg and the don't fuck animals Easter egg in Forley of 2. Yeah. Sorry, Maz. You want to choose more recent games you have played so your memory is better, then choose those. No, it's more just that I haven't played any of the Assassin's Creed games in a very long time. And I think the Easter eggs get fewer and fewer as they go on. And I don't mean, like, there are fewer, like, outside world Easter eggs. It becomes very self-referential after a certain point in Assassin's Creed, where it'll start to make references to previous Assassin's Creed games, as opposed to, Nintendo or Don't Fuck Animals or, TV shows. Yeah. So I would like it's not even like I would know from the newer games. I actually probably wouldn't, um, because there are fewer. I guess they stopped caring quite so much about those, about Easter eggs and stuff, or non-referencing Easter eggs because it becomes very self-referential after a certain point, which is disappointing. Because I liked the squid and things like that. Yeah, I like a game that doesn't like take itself too seriously either. Then it started to take itself really seriously. It's like only references from the Assassin's Creed universe. Internet cut out. What did you say for your last? That there aren't many Easter eggs in the more recent Assassin's Creed games, which is really disappointing. So I don't actually like expanding it out to more recent games, like more recent Assassin's Creed games, doesn't make much of a difference, I guess, because either I haven't played them or I haven't played them in a while, or more so the fact that I feel kind of disappointed about is that they just stopped referencing, like making, they stopped making Easter eggs for other things. It became super self-referential. So you'd get Easter eggs for Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and things like that, but not for, Mario or Giant Squids or things like that anymore. It was only Assassin's Creed after a certain point. Yeah, it does suck. And it is a stupid idea, but I don't know. I can't read the mind of a game developer. So, can't be helped. Hey, Simple Potato Farmer. Hello. I will hydrate. Thank you so much for that. I could be here for long because school, but have a wonderful day. Beautiful lambs. Also sippy for the mousy. Thank you so much, Potato Farmer. And I hope you have a good time at school. Learn lots. And don't worry about us. We will continue in your stead. But I can't, yeah. Don't worry, I got what you meant. But I appreciate you popping in. And I hope you're well as well. Hope you've had a good week. And a good few weeks since I last seen you. But yeah, take care of yourself and prioritize school over this stream. There will be VODs so you can watch them if you feel the need. Just slept too much for once and your mind created deprived horrors? Damn. But none of that here, so how are you, Mousy Mouse? I'm doing better. I'm doing way better. I had a pretty rough few weeks. Which made things pretty difficult for me, but hopefully I'm on the tail end of that now, so things will be better. But yeah, like, I haven't been sleeping well either, I think, so that's something we got in common, which is pretty cool. Twinsies. Yeah, but I hope, other than that, you're gonna get some better sleep soon, Potato Farmer. You forget if it's two or Brotherhood, but Leonardo, there's something to the effect of like the Earth revolving around the sun. Then Ezio asks, "You mean the sun revolving around the Earth?" Will always make you laugh, since, as I'm sure I know, the Earth was thought to be the center of the universe. Yes, and it is quite fair at least. Later, farmer, get your sleep, gamer. No, the sleep makes the bad things happen. Yeah, I get that. You're talking to a mouse that's quite prone to nightmares. I fully understand that. I have quite vivid dreams, which as a result lead to quite vivid nightmares. So I got quite interesting insomnia. Quite a fascinating kind of case of insomnia. And due to my work, my coworkers find it immensely fascinating. I get a lot of questions about the dreams that I have. It's not even nightmares. Oh, damn. Is it? You don't mind me asking, of course. What is it? If you do mind me asking, then just don't even worry about it. Like you didn't react to it at all and it was basically a slideshow of you watching some very horrible things and not reacting. Ooh, that would be rough. That would take that would be quite heavy, yeah. Sorry that that's happened to you, Potato Farmer. I hope you get some good sleep soon then. definitely struggled with sleep. More recently. And it happened 3 times, like in repeat, which just confused you. Yeah, that is really weird. Very sorry that that's happened to you, of course. But yeah, so like for me, I recently had. But thanks for listening to your schizo dream rant. It's okay. It's a safe space for everybody and their weird and unsettling dreams. I don't want to create an atmosphere where people feel they can't share things like that with me. Even if I can't offer any help, I'd like to be able to provide peace of mind at the very least. So I hope, yeah, I can only hope that you get some better sleep soon, which I'm sure you will, but it's a time thing, you know. Always happy to listen. But yeah, as I was saying, so for those of you who don't know, my apartment was recently broken into. I wasn't there at the time, but it had a very heavy effect on my mental state, like my mental health. I was very unsettled by it, you know, shaken by it. Um, but as of recently, as a result, sleep is very hard to come by right now. I'm back in my apartment, but as a result, you know, it's hard to feel safe in a space that you know has been breached. So I can fully respect the struggle for sleep, apparently. Not bad, just confusing. That's fair. Yeah, it sounds super confusing. Sleeping and dreaming is so confusing to you. Your dreams are the most wacky stuff possible. Simple potato farmer, hope you get better. You deserve it. Yes, you do. Simple potato farmer is a good bean, so very much deserves some. Um, yeah. So hope you get over that, and please do what makes you feel safe. I appreciate that. Streaming has become a very positive outlet for me, and I will be, you know, going to bed at the 3 hour mark, and stuff like that. But it's been hard to sleep, just because you know you just have that natural fear after being exposed to something like that. Being, as I've been told, a victim of a crime. I really dislike the term victim because it does make me like it makes you feel like you made a glass. Um, but being a victim of a crime, I'm gonna have this, even though my security is now safer than ever, you always feel just a little bit unsafe. That's okay. It'll pass. Um, and I appreciate the support and the kindness, of course. The kind words are very good, and I do appreciate it. Sure, others might say it's overreacting, but that stuff is serious. You have experienced it. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible to go through. Mass don't ever apologize for being absent for something such as that. Oh yeah, like, and I know you guys understand, and I really appreciate that. And I love that this stream is building a really lovely community, of really lovely, lovely, lovely people. Um, and I'm slowly working through the idea that that I owe explanations or apologies for things like that, which I don't, but like I always will want to give them. So I'm just working through that as best I can. And for those of you who follow my Twitter, which I don't think is many of you, or Instagram, I have recently announced that I've released a Ko-Fi page just for a means to manage commissions and things like that, because I want to do commissions. I love to make stuff for my community and for my audience, but I'm very bad at saying no or moderating what commissions I take on. So I'm using that as a means to kind of give people an opportunity to ask for commissions and things like that, but in a way in which I'm not going to take on like 400 in order to like make people happy. Yes, is there a way to get... I love that the music went very sentimental when I was talking about this stuff. Not meant to be a sentimental chat, but the thing is, it's like I feel it is important to let you guys know. And I'm not... And also a very important thing to say is that I am okay. I am okay now. I am through that and I do feel better. The sleep thing is you know, one of the long-standing effects, but I will get over it. Bloody music has made me sentimental. I'm so sorry. Mass, is there a way to get a lot of metal in Black Flag? You don't want to go searching for ships. Searching for ships be my only way of getting metal. If I remember correctly, ships is the best way to get it, especially early game. I think later game you get a better means of getting metal, but I can't be certain. There are other ways of getting metal, so you'll be alright. And you'll get bigger amounts of metal, so you won't have to go foraging for it quite as often. The music is something straight from a really sad movie, and as a character dies, it's heavily raining and there's just no sound playing. Yeah, it's like, it really is that. Like, it really is that. It's just so, like, emotionally charged, is the word I'm thinking of. Which I do find hilarious because ultimately, what I am talking about is serious, of course, but also I would not want my chat to worry about it because it's not important. It's over. We grow from it. All hail Grey Mass, the mousiest master ever master. Okay, guys, now you're just being too sweet. The music stopped. Oh, no, it hasn't. I keep being sentimental when there's sentimental music playing. We fall into it. We fall into this rut every single time. Fall into this trap every time. We become sentimental and heartfelt, wholesome. This isn't what this chat is about. The scene is also in slow motion as someone tries to help the friend. Yeah, exactly. It is. It really is that. No, this is... this channel is not wholesome. It's for... not for cursed art. It's for pretty normal art. But it's for cursed chat. And game chat. Not heartfelt shit. Jazz. Good feelings and good... Fuck. Fuck that. Real long song. It's for everything and nothing. Yeah, exactly. I thought you said gay chat and I was going to say mood. Not the time for gay chat. Yeah. We get a little... it's okay. We get a little bit gay here. That's fine. The mouse, like, admittedly, like, it's unavoidable. I do have that LGBTQ tag for a reason. You can't be straight without a little gay. Yeah, a little bit. Exactly. I ain't straight. Boom. And I'm not gay, that being said. One of those things. Gotta be open and accepting of everyone, because everybody, most people are great. Some people suck, but most people are great, so I wanna always be open. As long as you like comics or video games, there's something good to be had here. Also remember to save. Shit, good idea. Thank you for reminding me. Mouse, the Lord of Riz, Infinite Riz. Stop fucking saying that. I absolutely am not. Recently started using Bumble. because I haven't been in a relationship for a very long time. And Rouse. That's Risma. Risma balls, more like. I don't even know. That definitely didn't make sense as well. Yeah, started using Bumble, and it's such a weird experience to actually jump back into the dating game after having not been in it for a very long time. Those of you who do not, like, who aren't aware, I haven't dated for a very long time. I certainly don't have Riz. I fucking hate that word too. So weird. Risma balls. A mighty Rizaus has gone to the hive. What the fuck? What does any of this mean? All like very well constructed gibberish at this point. I do like it. I do find it funny. But it's just like, if we sent any of this conversation anywhere else, it wouldn't make sense. Rizaus. Yeah, but I've started doing that, and it's an interesting situation because ultimately, I'm not talking about the mouse. I'm not talking about my strings for a little while. I need to get past the talking stage before then, before I ever bring shit like that up. Mouse, you seem you could get all the baddies, but you're just here, like, I have to fucking draw them. I mean, that is like, no joke, that is genuinely one of the things that has held me back. Well, not held me back, is that I often make myself quite busy. And as a result, I don't allow myself time for things like that. Which is is a real mistake because I wouldn't mind something like that. Actually, like, getting a chance to, actually, one of the things that, like, brought me to actively pursue dating was that I realized that I enjoy talking to people, and that I kind of have deprived myself of a genuine close connection with someone for such a long time that I forgot or didn't remember the value, like the true value of a close connection and conversation that comes from that. So that's actually one of the things that kind of spurred me to make that decision and to jump onto that. Does that chat even make sense in this context? No, not really, but that's fine because we build context here. You're also the Wizard of Oz. God fucking damn it. I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm also deeply disappointed in you. And myself for laughing at that. Goodness. I mean, I love that this is what my chat is. Like, holy fuck, I could not be more proud of you guys. But also more disappointed. Holy fuck. I'm gonna need to finish this bit. Match its eyes. Jesus Christ. Last time we see. You always strive for your compliments and reprimands, oh Rista. Rista? That a combination of Riz and Mister, or Riz and Sister? Barista? Mister? Rizta. I love it, but I also hate it. And I know I can't escape it because it's like, because ultimately, as someone who is
you know, I jumped around in Twitch chats before I started streaming and stuff. If your chat gets something that riles a reaction out of the streamer, then they will run that joke into the ground. So I know I can't escape it. And I think if I didn't react to it, it wouldn't be funny for anyone, which is just the same. Which is just rough. Just depletes the fun. So I'm just going to continue to react negatively and verbally to every time I hear Riz used in my chat. It would be rude of me to ban it as well. You always strive for your compliments and reprimands. Oh yeah, and yes, Grey Mouse, is my sister. I don't know. I don't know the hip lingo of the kids. An old man. Actually, one thing, using dating apps has made me realize how I guess successful I am for my age as well. The age of the Iron Mouse will come once the Riz word is banned. Yeah, exactly. I'm become just absolutely like zero tolerance, and I'm just like, no. If Riz is typed in chat, Nightbot will ban you. And then it will download your IP address and it'll beat you to death with a bike chain. I think that would be a stream atmosphere that would feel quite toxic. So I would never go that far. And honestly, I can take a joke. I could take a joke. Like, I'm happy to get these jokes and stuff. It doesn't matter to me. Absolutely fine. Makes people happy. It makes me happy. Messy say. For 5 million years. If I was Iron Mouse streaming for 5 million years, then you could be like assured I'd actually have a pretty regular schedule. Currently, I'm just like, just appear sometimes, draw a little thing and then disappear again, which I'm actually gonna do again. I gotta travel for some more work, so I might be gone again, which is hilarious. I would get someone to fill in for me, but I just don't think I can trust anyone to draw well. Draw my comic well enough. So, fuck it, I'm not going to trust anyone. But, you're like a wild merchant who sells us joy and tales of woe. Well, after disappearing for work in a few weeks, like it's not going to be this week or next week, but eventually, once I come back from that, I won't be going again for a very long time, so I can actually return to my regular schedule, which I'd be glad for. You know, it'd be nice to actually regularly stream again. I got like noticeably better at illustrating when I was streaming more regularly. And now that I've kind of dropped off a bit, been, hit or miss. Also very nice art. Thank you very much. Appreciate the kind word. As always. How are we doing for time? 2 hours 57. Okay, so we're almost. Oh, you haven't dropped off. You just dropped in, and now everyone is stuck with you. Yeah, wouldn't have it any other way. So cool to finally be in the chat of headmaster of the school of Rizcraft and Rizardry. Fucking hell. I mean, You can't thwart the creative spirit, right? What kind of headmaster would I be? I'm gonna just say this right now. I'm not. There is never gonna be a part of the stream where I teach Riz. Okay, just saying that now, nipping that in the bud. I'm not doing that. I have no real world charisma, charm. It all exists offline. I mean online. Fuck. Headmaster emote. That'd be good. Also, the fact you're disappointed in me, but equally as proud, makes you eternally happy. Thank you. You're very welcome. You are very, very welcome. I think that's actually. He said it exists offline. He said it. Wait, what? Oh, no, it absolutely doesn't. Sorry. Sorry to burst your bubble. I am as charming as a cabbage rolled down a hill. Offline. Did I save? Yes. Cool. Woo! Riz conformed. Riz conformed. I conformed to cabbages are so hot, so. Oh shit, why did I say that to Simple Potato Farmer? He would. He would think so. Dang it. Can't win. I can't win in my own fucking chat. Don't care whether or not it's true. You said it, so it's been confirmed. You're literally a potato. Yeah, exactly. Worst thing to say in the presence of a potato. Very fair. Fucked it up. Fucked it up. Said shit I shouldn't have said. Oh well, we live with our mistakes, right? But anyway, that's some really good progress, actually. I'm really happy with that. So I'm thinking I will end, well, we'll raid out. And then I'll see you guys again on Friday. Friday's the next streaming day, so I'll be finally playing Control. First time, so we'll be starting Control, which will be really fun. Either that or you mentioned sweat, gagging, sweet potatoes. Lit. That's fair, that's pretty awful. Rizathonic. What's the second part to that? Athonic. Rizathonic. You guys are both impress and baffle me. Sometimes. Oh, Tealful is still on. Ellie is also on. That's. Are you trying to call me a Rizaholic? Like an alcoholic, but Riz. Hate it. Tealful. She's been streaming for like 4 hours. Don't know if she is about to raid out. So. Could do. But I don't know if I want to risk a raid to someone who's just gonna raid out. Ellie is still in? Oh, could raid someone new, which is always nice. Trying to think. Got Riz on the brain. So I can't think properly. Brain's full of, oh shit, I rizzed my pants. Yeah. Now I'm trying to think. Ellie's good. But think I've rated her a few times. I must be like, hey, that sounds. Hey, that looks. Hey, look, that soda is fizzy right now. Zombie Slayer. No, it's Rizzy Mouse. You should know that. Oh, I should know that. Yeah, this is a very counterproductive stream. Clearly, counterproductive for my soul. Oh well, soul and well-being. Yeah, tossing it up. Just followed Heelful today. I could always jump into her stream. And it would make for a change. Let's. Yeah. Wait. I almost was like, yeah, let's rate it to Tealful. Looks like she's taking on a new mission. But yeah, so she's playing Destiny. Let's jump into her stream. Yeah. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me today. We made some really good progress. It's really lovely to see. Very, very positive stuff. Mouse, have you met a grizzly bear? No, I'm Australian. There are no grizzly bears in Australia. We've got... I can't think of anything to add, like, Riz to. I just can't think of anything to add Riz to for Australian animals. Do you have Riz hogs? I'm trying to raid out Zombie Slayer. I can't raid out if you're asking me about Riz-based animals. Riz. Alright, but with that said, on that bombshell, I'll see you all on Friday. Thank you all so much for joining. See ya.